Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of your Scottish podcast with myself, Craig, my trusty co-host, Aaron. Aaron, how are you doing tonight?
Very well, thank you, mate. Bit
Good,
tired, but
good.
very well.
We're all tired. It's one of those days. No, I'm glad. Um, I've been buzzing to get this podcast done. This is a gentleman I've only seen live once, but I've watched his career through the years. He has wrestled for companies such as ICW, Reckless Intent, PWU, MEW, many more, Valor, W3L, Alba, Target, and many more. He has also held championships such as SWA Tag Team Championship, SWA T Division Championship, SWA Laird of the Ring Championship, Laird of the Ring Championship twice, ICW Tag Team Championship 3 times, PWE Tag Team Championship twice, MEW Tag Team Championship twice, Reckless Intent UK Championship, ICW World Heavyweight Championship, N7 Championship, Reckless Intent Hardcore Championship twice, and NEW Heavyweight Championship. That's a lot of titles to go through. Um, he is the one, the only, the Godfather of insanity, Chris Renfrew. Chris, how are you doing tonight?
I'm very good. Thank you for running through that long list of initials. That is my accolades. Didn't even. I was sitting there going, Reckless Intent hardcore title twice. I don't even remember that being a thing. Cool. That's fun. So yeah, no, thank you very much. Glad to be here.
I'm so glad that you're on. We have had Jam Dog come in and say evening, gents. So good evening, Jam Dog. So, like we were talking off stream, we'll go through your career, but more so who you went up against or who you're tagged with. But just
Okay.
to get some silliness out of the way first, we go through some random questions, and they are very random. So
What's that with you?
I know. So the first one we'll go with: what is your Tesco meal deal?
Oh wow. I'm gonna have to be one of those like chicken sandwich. You know, the chicken club sandwich, whatever the variation is. It can depend. The BLT, the one with the bacon and that. Drink, it depends what time of day it is, but I usually end up with one of these. Absolutely terrible for you. I'm not endorsing the product of Monster, by the way. In fact, I would swear just don't drink it. It's awful for you. I used to have hair before I started drinking it. I don't even know what it's been so long, man. I don't even do Tesco meal deals, to be honest, lads. But I'll go for the cheese and onion crisps, man. Can be a bit of Walker, so as you know, I'm a consummate athlete, so
Yes, very good. Starbucks or Costa?
Costa.
Ooh. Fair.
Don't like Starbucks. Don't like them.
Fair.
Do you know? I'll be honest, right, lads. Starbucks maybe does taste better, but I don't like them as a brand. But I've actually got Tim Hortons up the road, so I'm going to fly the Canadian flag and go out on the third wheel. I'm going to be that. You know, when people ask you, is it Paul McCartney or John Lennon? And there's always that one dick that goes, actually, I prefer George Harrison. So I'm going to be that dick.
Yeah, we'll allow anything from you tonight. I'm not going to argue anything with you tonight. Chinese or Indian?
Chinese,
Oh, good choice. What's your go-to
mostly.
Chinese?
I like a special chow mein. I like this trash. I like it to be the beige stuff from a Chinese. You know, I don't want authenticity. I want yellow things. So you want your chips, your special chow mein. I like a chicken cashew nut every now and then. You know, I like a wee bit of variation. I don't really. What is it? Peking. But I don't eat duck. What do I get? Peking beef. Oh, or Peking pork. I like Peking. Peking sharp. But yeah, that's some of my varieties there.
Fair, fair. Aaron, have you got any random questions you want to throw in?
I think so, mate. You've got your list.
Like let's
Think of
find
random.
one
Okay,
more.
no, have you got your list? What's your finding right? Deep fried Mars bar, yes or no?
I've never even tried one. I think it's a gimmick. Do you know we like totally like lean into how much Scottish lore's actually real around the world? Do you know what I mean? Like I mean, I was over in Florida years ago, on holiday 2008, and this guy, man, he's in a pizza place, lovely dude, but he's like, man, I don't believe in fucking aliens or ghosts, but I know that Loch Ness monster's in there. And you just keep the straight face and keep Scottish tourism alive. Like, I no doubt, mate. It's fucking, I've seen it.
That's brilliant, man. That is brilliant. That's class.
Oh, I love that. We'll go into like about your career.
Okay.
So we do use Cage Match. I say this on every podcast. We know it's not up to date, so any information that is wrong, we apologise. So I've got here your first match that shows on Cage Match was back on the 14th of January 2005.
Hmm.
And it was a 3CW heavyweight title, a number one contendership, third man free for all the Rumble.
See, there's stuff missing from that because my first match has actually happened, and I don't even remember that match to give you any context on what you just said there. I do not have a Scooby about what happened. I'm assuming it was a Rumble spot,
Mm.
which is what you did. You do in your early parts of your career. You get Rumble spots, and you travel hours to get flung out in 4 minutes. But that's paying your dues. No, my first match was 2004. My first singles match was 2006. So it was a while there, but it was actually 2004, and it was actually in Coventry for a promotion called Midlands Pro Wrestling, ran by a wrestler called Magic. Mike Connell is his real name. Big shout out to Magic, one of the forgotten guys of the yesteryear, 20 years ago now. But it was him and another couple of fellas. Their names is Mad Mike, I think the guy's name was. But I'd been in the doors for like a month and a half. Like I hadn't been doing it long, which I think was actually a bit of a disservice to me because you shouldn't be in front of a live audience that early in. Like you're still green as. Oh, can I swear? Am I
Yeah,
going to get pulled
yeah.
up for
No, you
swearing
can
here?
swear.
Go for it, yeah.
Oh, good. Fuck yeah, America. But I was brought down really early, and we were two. I've just beat the shit out of this guy, Andy Hughes, man. Fucking that 70s shoes. Um, but aye, it was fun. That's God, lads, you're making me feel my age. What is that? 22 years ago as of next year. So I'll put it like this: it was Eddie Guerrero and Vacant were the two champions at the time. If you get what I'm saying, WrestleMania 20 had just occurred, so that's how long back ago I'm gone.
Fair, fair. Yeah.
An illustrious career though, honestly. Like just looking through, I know as Craig says, Craig's match does not have everything, but just looking through it, the amount of matches. I know obviously I know if you take time away and we'll speak about that, but the amount of matches
Yeah,
you've had is just it's phenomenal. It's mental. It's some of just looking at some of the people you went up against as well. It's just wow.
well, thank you very much.
No problem.
No, it's class. So I've got here on Cage Match. I've got here as your first kind of singles match was on the 18th of. They're saying the 18th of June 2005. It was for SWA. It was a charity day. You went up against Johnny Darko. Um, do you
Oh,
remember
lads,
much about
well,
that one?
do you know the weird thing is I wouldn't until David Wilson, a long time photographer of Scottish professional wrestling, I was asking him for some old promo shots because that's me back in the social medias and that, innit?
Mm.
So, in it. So, I was asking him if you get any stuff from the archives because I'm terrible. See, when I get a new phone, everything dies in the old phone. There's this thing called the cloud. I'm 40 now, lads. I've heard of the cloud and I'm like, oh God, I don't even want to know what's on there at this point because I've never checked my cloud. All I know is it keeps telling me there's no space left. But I got sent this photo, right? And believe it or not, lads, hair like fringe, man, big sweaty fringe down here with the worst headlock you've ever seen. I'm just like looking at him, like clearly going through the next spot, no technique. Pretty much like when you think you're cool shit and then you look back and go, oh lad, because I don't think Brits grow into them. I mean, look at the lads now, man. You look at some of the young ICW boys; they're all fucking tanked, man. But we were 18, 19, 20. That wasn't really the culture, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't look like it. But the thing that pops me most is my T-shirt. Said most desirable man in the world. I wasn't. That was a bigger lock than the fucking headlock, lads.
Oh
Oh,
no,
that
that's
was
class.
brilliant. That is
Oh,
absolutely class. Wow.
that is class.
That is brilliant.
Just about a week later, you were again for
We're
SB.
not going to go through every one of my
No,
matches for
no, no, no,
2005, are we here,
no,
lads?
no,
Because
no, no,
that's quite a stint, man.
no,
In
no,
2007,
no, no. Just this one. I just want to mention this one. It was an SBA tag team title tournament quarter final. You
I
got
know who you're ready to speak about. I know exactly who you're ready to
yeah.
speak about.
You went up against the then Virgil Devitt, who is now known as Finn Balor. What was it like going up against him?
well, obviously at the time he wasn't the star he is now, and it's
Yeah.
funny because we crossed paths a lot more later on when he was over in ICW before he went to the Fed. But he trained. He was part of NWA Ireland, NWA Hammerlock, right, which was. It was NWA affiliated, but let's be honest, when Shane Douglas threw that NWA title down and declared it dead, RIP, and ECW was the new one, NWA hasn't quite had the same. But whatever, right? I digress. But these lads were fucking old school, right? Now, if you read, do you know what? I'm going to do my pal a plug here, right? If you read available now, Johnny Storm's book,
Brilliant book.
Unofficial Legend.
Brilliant book. Not finished it, but through it.
Same,
Mhm.
same. I'm not quite there yet. I want to finish it by Friday because I'm wrestling Johnny then. So
Yeah.
I'm up to. He's in Japan. That's where I'm at. But the fuck was I talking about again, man? I've lost my point. Fergal. So he was talks about getting trained by Andre Baker's school, right? Now I never met Andre Baker, but I heard all about him, and these guys were no bullshit. Like this was protect the business. This wasn't like WWE Unreal or whatever the fuck the Netflix show's called, and just going here's everything that happened. No, no, no. These guys were old school, right? And it was better that came up the road to Scotland, right? So it wasn't a case of you the mats and the ring we used to wrestle in was ungodly hard, and the guys tested whether you wanted to be there anymore. So I think there was I don't know if there was heat with the elders, but anyway, they get sent up to have test us. And it was me and a guy called Chris Charisma, tag partner. And I don't know, I'll see if I can find footage because I'm sure Glendon Bar has the archives of all the old SWA shows, but he beat the absolute piss out of us. Now I got the lighter end of it, right? I get the well lighter end, like Chris Charisma, man. See the kicks he was hitting him, but we laughed on it later because I was like saying it was like, fair go, mate. Do you remember beating the fucking shit out of me? Like he was the stomp was a new move to him back then. Test on me, lads. So before he figured out how to maim his opponent with it, fuck the fat Scottish kid, most desirable man. Let's find out. So that was an experience. But it's wonderful because to have wrestled someone of that ilk way, when you hear these people talk about wrestling someone on the indies before, it's quite cool that I caught him on his journey. And shout out to Paul Tracy as well. He was his tag partner that day. He's a tremendous technical wrestler, was a tremendous teacher. I haven't kept up with him in the most recent years, if I'm being honest, but um, total respect for him as well. He was a bit lighter than our Fergal, though he was snug as shit, but not unsafe and not in any way. By the way, it was all the William Regal thing. I've hit them hard in safe places, but that was my experience.
Fair, fair. And it's quite
You're
funny
just in
that
the element.
yeah,
Me and
it's
you.
no, but it's quite funny as well. You're the crash dummy for Fergal for that finisher. Right. Like, let's just do it on Chris. Like, let's just do it on Chris.
Yeah, let's just practice it up here. As you know, when they were going through this list of moves they might finish me with, and they were coming up with all sorts. Like I think they were doing it to fuck me, like you fuck with the younger guys. Like when we'll hit like like the Steiner brothers finisher with the big bulldog thing, but no, we'll try it in a pile driver. And I'm just sitting wide-eyed, willing to take any move in wrestling because I'm so new. Like just wanting to impress people, even though you do not do that and never agree to anything you're not comfy doing. But then he settled on just jumping on me for the top rope.
Fair.
That's class. That is class.
I think I got away with the fact he came up and my partner was English. And I think the Irish lads went, aye, but you know, you know, we all know.
Oh, that's class.
Oh
Um,
man, that's fucking brilliant, man.
Going to 2006. So the 13th of May 2006. Obviously, you've only been wrestling for a year and a bit, 2 years. So SWA put you in a T division title match. So what was that like getting like having that match for a title? and when you were still so basically new to the business as well?
It was nice at the time, I took it as what it was. I was very realistic about what the titles are and what they mean. Titles are what you make of them as the performer as much as anything else. So I don't have a huge amount of memories of that. I remember wrestling Darren Lewis in a best of 5, which was quite fun because he got a rub because back then no one got tryouts, no one, it was a rare thing, and he got a tryout because he's 6'6", and WWE sent out like one of those send in your home videos and audition type things,
Mhm.
and he got a shout out. So I wrestled him for quite a while. But of the title itself, I don't really, because it was a big trophy. I remember that. It's a fucking trophy, right? By the time I got it, it was fucked. So we just did an angle where I like took, like Taker used to do that thing with the chair
Mhm.
to people's throats. I was like, fuck, this isn't going to survive. Like, by the time I won it, it was like rickety, man. It was like a squid's leg. And I was like, I can't carry this big piece of fucking shit about. We'll just break it on me. So we did that spot, and then, he got his heat back because I took his title. But then he went, because I'm such a good guy, I was like, you get your heat back. I actually couldn't be asked carrying that stupid trophy. And then we got a smaller one, a more compact one, which I don't think I ever actually defended. I think I retired as, and that title retired way me. I think it was just abolished. I think they just went, fuck it, keep it. So
Fair, fair. Yeah, I did see the best of 5 series, um, in like the list, where you did win it 3-2. Um,
I did.
but yeah, it's quite funny that it's an old trophy that was basically fucked by the time you got it, so you just broke it even more. And
Ah,
you
well,
do
do you know
because
what
it's
it
you.
is? You make everything out of the props you get, and you make them work around your environment. Like, let's be honest, like some of the things that people have got over are fucking ridiculous. Mick Foley got a sock over. Like, you had no right to do that. If someone put that on paper, like, you know what we're gonna do, but that's organic. Of course, it just happened. Um, I'll give you my perfect example is right. Owen Hart, God rest. He's known as a two-time Slammy Award winner. Do you even remember what he won the Slammies for? No, I
No.
think it was something ridiculous like best haircut or something. Aye, but he made them titles worth caring about. That's what you do. That's what you do. Or if it's broke, just break it on someone. That's the golden rule of wrestling. That this is going to die. Any wrestler worth their salt with furniture in their house and it's about to get broke, and they don't go, "We've got a table we could break." Even in the right business, lads.
I think anything that's due to break arm, we should just take for Chris so you can break it on people.
Let's do it, mate. That sounds like a plan.
Within reason, some of the fucked up shit people try and had you, they had you like a pure iron skillet. Like, why hell? I don't mind murder them. Like, come on, lads. There's a limit. I'll set fire, but there's ways of setting fire to them.
We can figure something out for when we
Yeah.
speak about it for Friday. We can figure something out for you for Friday.
For Friday. No, do you know what? That Friday won't happen because I'm having a wrestling match on Friday. I'm wrestling Johnny Storm, and big respect to Johnny as I just put over his book. Finally, like, because obviously I've been around. We're talking about me in 2005 here, lads. That's
Yeah.
fucking 20 years ago. So I'm wrestling a guy that started 10 years before me, type thing. And maybe not as long as that, but he was, I think, late 90s, if I remember in his book. So there's someone I can learn from that's been around the world and knocked himself out on a water slide. So I'm buzzing for that. So I'm not saying I won't hit him with something if it gets in my hand. I'm just saying
So
I'll
yeah, I
probably.
get that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I'm not, but when that whole like you crawl under and you bring out something sharp. I know for Johnny. Come on, man. Respect
No,
the vets.
no, no.
Yeah, no, I think
Um,
we're both looking forward to that match as well because as soon as it got announced, he sent me the thing. He goes, "Look at this." I went, "Mate, don't know about you, but I'm buzzing. This is." But I could think in my head, right? What when he sent me, I thought inside he's fucking marking out like Craig totally because
as soon as
it's and
as
that
soon as I seen it, I sent it to you and I sent it to Tony, my partner, and I was like, "Ah, this is going to be a great match."
is
That was
100%.
basically what I said. This will be a great match with a picture, and even my partner, she was like, "Yeah, that's going to be a good match." Like,
Yeah,
Anything involving Johnny Storm's a great match, and that's the guys. That's why he's been around as long as he has, and he still works full time. And
yeah,
he made a living here, And like, might as well fucking keep putting him over here. If he had wrestled during a later era with the style of wrestling he brought, and it wasn't just tape traders, and it wasn't just adverts from the wrestling channel. Because my first image of Johnny was the 720 taking from Jody Fleisch. The 720, was it the Phoenix DDT they called it, where he jumps, spin onto the ropes, jump off, and hit this fucking bodacious tornado DDT. And I just remember seeing that and going, what the fuck is this? Because to me, British wrestling was always, it had a certain reputation of being Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks. I just missed the ITV stuff, really. I went back and respect the art that is Mick McManus and Rollerball Rocco and, all that later on. But these lads changed the game, man. And it's weird just thinking, man, if they'd came along ahead of their time, there's some phrases get flung around a lot, and things like ahead of their time and things like that. And Legend, they were ahead of their time. Him and Jody Fleisch. Anyway, back to the Chris Renfrew. Fuck you, Johnny. You're dead on
Sorry, mate,
Friday.
it's me. It's just because I know I kind of jumped, but we
No,
could
that
talk
was me.
more about. Yeah, but
I'm gushing.
you're gushing, but I instigated it and stuff. Whilst Craig figures out where we're going, right?
No, I know where we're going, but you can keep going. It's fine.
Yeah. So the Godfather of Insanity, how did that come about? How did you create that as your nickname?
That was because of the ICW thing, frankly, being part of the original Revolution or the part of that crew that started the whole thing, and not just being one of the wrestlers, but also being one of the creative minds behind it. So I thought I'd just run with the moniker because I'm not here to shit on anyone, but the way I look at that place now is like The Simpsons. It's the same product, technically, but there's different people running the show. So it just looks different. So The Simpsons have still got Bart, Homer, and you know what I mean by that. But season 1 to 9 was different guys running the show, and take that as you will.
Yeah. No, I get that. Right, carry on, Craig. Sorry.
We have had Jam Dog come in and say, I once saw Ricky Gibson piss on that trophy and his own wrestling bag while he was sleepwalking. Random, but okay.
I believe him.
So do I. Thanks,
Right,
God bless Ricky. He was a good lad. I know once he fell asleep in a bus stop coming home from a night out, and he was listening to. I've actually got one hand. What are the fucking odds? A PSP, right? He's listening to a PSP on the headphones. He falls asleep, wakes up, headphones are still in, PSP's gone.
Fair.
That's brilliant, man. Wow. Wow.
Just you just look up and go, oh, it was his dad's, I think, as well, man. I'm sure it was his dad's PSP. God rest him. See, Ricky, like one of these lads. See what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the old days when people get fucking battered, man, just to see if they still wanted to do it. That boy, man, he gets set. We set about him, man. Like, when you look back on some, well, probably not use, but you look back on some of your shit and you're like, probably could have chilled a wee bit on that one, but well, that's what it is.
We go to the 14th of October 2006. You were in a tag team SWA tag team title match. You as and Charisma as the Lady Killers. You went up against the Shamrockers of Damien O'Connor and Pete O'Neill, and you won and took the titles from them. What was it like having the tag titles, but also Damien O'Connor, as we now know as Big Damo? What was it like going up against him as well?
I've wrestled Damo from medium Damo. I mean, Shamrockers, first of all, shout out to the name Shamrockers as a tag team from Ireland. That's a fucking great name. I'm sure that was Adam Shame, aka Coach Trip, aka whatever his wrestling is this week. He came up with the name. But anyway, Big Damo was. Honestly, right, I'll say this 100%. Of all the guys, I never would have called him immediately to have been one of the guys to go as far as he went. Now, that isn't saying that his work, he was always fit as a fiddle. He would whoop everyone at the running and fitness and cardio. That's the thing. But he never struck me as being maybe, but then he went from being, that kind of Shamrockers Damo and, the kind of coming out to the Irish thing, and he became Big Damo. Just what a transformation. And I wrestled both, and it was like two different guys altogether. I'll tell you this much: Big Damo hits you harder than medium Damo. That fucking fly kick across the ring, what is it, the coast to coast, man? You feel that. You're like, I wonder how a guy that big gets across the ring and then he hits you like that, all momentum. But it was great. Another one that's cool. I've just like watched him go all the way to where he did. Him and Nikki Cross, who wrestled as Nikki Storm as well. his good lady. Good experiences. Always had fun matches. Believe he took the belt off me in Belfast as well with ICW years later. So, but the tag titles. It's always fun to get a belt, isn't it? Yeah.
No, that's it's class, and it's something that's good to hear. Like you hear people talk about Big Demo, but they've never went through like you've just said, like you've wrestled him when he was like medium demo, and like you've seen the transformation, and he's much better. Like as everyone develops, so he's better now, due to developing, but he's also
I
yeah,
think
it's a lot harder.
I think from memory we've swapped 3 titles between us. I'm sure I took those tags off him. He took the Laird of the Ring title when we wrestled in the Kelvin Hall, and then he took the ICW title off me years later as well. So there you go, lads. We start for you.
Fair, fair. Um, again, 2007, 21st of April. You went. It was SWA. But you went up against Chris Charisma, who was your tag partner.
Mm.
Was was there a reason for you and him going one on one?
I can't remember the storyline behind it. I think it was a heel people running the promotion tag team fight each other. But we were just a tag team because I used to look a lot like him. We did the whole, switcheroony. Like I don't know who would we say used to do that. The Harris brothers, I guess.
Yeah.
But I literally had under the ring for like 45 minutes one show, just so we could do that we in and out, and just to get
Yeah.
the moment afterwards. But Chris was a great guy. Gavin, real name Gavin. He just went about. He must have just went back to normal life because one day he just never came back, and I've never heard from him since. Um, so Godspeed, Gav. Hope you're well. But good. I don't really. I think from my memory, it was just one of those booked as we're baddies. We're going to make you fight. Ha ha ha. Scenarios.
Fair enough. Uh, no, that's fair. I didn't know if there was maybe like maybe a heel turn, someone had turned on someone. That's how I was wondering with that.
No, I don't think so. No.
Um, you've also went up against Scott Rennick. Um,
Uh huh.
and tag and single. Now Scott Rennick's a legend in the business. So what was it like when you got the chance to go up against him? You went like in tag matches, but also in single matches as well.
He was like the nicest guy in wrestling, by the way. Like he was just you you'd break his jaw or something like that, and he'd be like, don't worry about it, mate. It's all right, Didn't even worrying about that. And he's just like the soundest guy. I'm sure he actually like donated an organ to one of his mates, like he did like is that a kidney transplant or something? Matt, just can I wish we need to have a more up to date one. Scotty, where are you? Come back. From my memory, they were fun, but I don't remember too much. We're going back a bit, lads. I just remember him being the soundest guy ever.
Well, my partner Tony has come in and said good evening, boys. So good evening, Tony. You are in the next room to me. We'll go to 2008. Again, this is someone that you've wrestled numerous times, but you've also been in the faction with, and it's Wolfgang.
Okay.
This was the SWA Laird of the Ring title,
Okay.
that you beat him. But what is it like going up against Wolfgang when you've went from back then to even like when you last had your match, like the development with Wolfgang?
He was always just that bit better than most people in the ring. There was this kind of group of guys, and it was like Lionheart, Wolfgang, and Darkseid were the kind of main 3 guys in Scotland that everyone was kind of aspiring for to be in the same spot because he weighs what 20 stone a guy, and he does the most beautiful swanton in professional wrestling. Bar none, by the way. Like I stand on that. Like he's got the nicest looking swanton. Um, he has got like scary strength as well. Like I'm a big dude. Like I'm not used to getting flung around that much, especially in the UK, where usually wrestlers tend to be a bit smaller, and wrestlers are a bit smaller, I guess, in general. But especially when you meet the Americans, like I remember I did a wrestling seminar with Raven, and I was shocked at the size of him because I always had the memory of him in like the Royal Rumble with Kane. And like how small he looked, like the massive difference. So when I met him and his hands are like fucking shovels, I was like, Jesus, man, we're small compared to them. So he had one of those like he could power bomb me twice and all that, but
Mhm.
he was a pleasure, and yeah, 'cause I'm pretty sure I don't know if this is the 100% the truth, but the talent scouts have came over, and it was a show for ICW down England somewhere. And they actually, I believe it was Regal, was running the kind of talent scouting, or at least doing the link with the UK. And I think he was having a look at the Coffee Brothers. And by chance, I think Wolfgang was on the show, and he actually went, "Who the fuck is he, by the way? Like, I'm having a look at him," and rightfully so. So, yeah, and it's a credit to the Scottish scene that he's back on it.
Yeah, and it's such good to see him back, and hopefully, I'll be at a show soon where he will also be on it because I love watching Wolfgang. And the same with the Coffee Brothers. There's all of them are good. Against Gallows. So it'll be good to see them live very soon. You touched on someone a minute ago. One of the names in like Scottish wrestling, and British wrestling, but it's Lionheart. Obviously, we are anytime we speak about him on here, like he should still be here to this day. Unfortunately, he's not. Um, he should still be here to this day doing what he should be doing. What was it like for you having the honour of being in the ring with him?
We always had chemistry because we just clicked. There were some people that you've just got that certain merging of styles, and we always had a merging of styles. Like that was my kind of first main singles feud in ICW, which eventually, essentially, got me into the creative side of it because I get left for free reign. Me and Adrian get left free reign to do our own kind of story. But we always had like a good back and forth as well. We could both chat and we were both willing to go there. We didn't have butthurt feelings when we were saying things in promos because it was sound. And as you say, it's a fucking, we could go into that, but it's a shame he's no longer with us. But he was so smooth. Like that's the way I would describe his wrestling style. Like he did everything, and he really, he was like proper like my sacrifice, the wrestler. He loved that kind of fucking hope and glory and kind of Cody Rhodes, right? He was that type of babyface. But equally the heel turn because he came back obviously from that neck break. I don't know if you've ever seen the footage or ever seen the photos of the Styles clash that went wrong. Shouldn't have walked away from that. And then I remember it was like he was a wee bit put out because he came back and the crowd still weren't receptive. And I was like, I always remember it kind of likened it like when Edge came back from a big long neck injury and they were booing him in Toronto and he's like, why are they booing me? He went, what are you doing that's any different? So we came up with the concept, and I don't know if you remember when he got his neck injured against Kenny Williams and he just sold it and the whole place went silent. That was mine and his kind of thing we came up with together, and we kind of ran it by. He was like, "Fucking, why don't we just go down it?" And people were raging, and I'm like, "Well, he is the guy that actually broke his neck, so I knew we were still giving him heat and cheering for the other guy." So when he nipped up and you heard this audible, fuck, like Uncle Albert. I don't know if you know the reference, Uncle Albert in Only Fools and Horses when he's meant to act shocked that Rodney's going on a date. If you don't know it, look it up. Quality gold. Um, those moments, so he could be equally a top heel. And we could wrestle either way around. I think I always preferred him as the babyface against me because we had a few that actually stand out in my memory. We had a belter in London as well. There's so much footage that I just don't have anymore that would be quite cool to watch back and refresh my memory. But it was always a pleasure working with him because we both give such a fuck about every element of wrestling, not just in between the ropes, but that whole the big build, the hype, the feud, etc., etc. So pleasure and God rest.
Yeah, no, it's class to hear, and I always like everyone's got different stories about him, so I always like to when we can't touch on him and get like everyone's stories just to hear what they say about him, and it's always amazing stuff. You never get anything bad about him. Um, but then we'll touch on 2009. I've got here. You made your debut for ICW at well, this says Fear and Loathing 2. How did it come about you getting brought into ICW?
Well, it was a replacement for a replacement. So Wolfgang was meant to be in with BT Gun. They were going to start running the Gold Label story early, and it was Wolfgang, a BT Gun versus Lionheart Red Lightning, and Wolfgang was going on holiday or he couldn't make the booking. And originally Dallas was going to use Alan Grogan as a replacement, but BT went, use Renfrew, mate. He'd fit the bill. Obviously, we've teamed and stuff. But I was Aye, so he's gave me a shout, and I've done the whole debut from the crowd. And originally, I was going to wrestle in my usual wrestling gear I used to wear, but Dallas is like, "Why would you be wearing wrestling gear if you just came out the crowd?" Logic. So I just wrestled in the street clothes, and that's how that character. Because it was a fucking shit ton easier as well than my nothing at all sexy hot pants, but um, that's kind of how it happened. And from there, I mean, it was only one show in 2009. And it was just so much fun. The building was practically empty. There was about 30 people in that crowd, right? But Dallas just was like, "Ah, fuck it, wreck the house." And we did, man. And BT Gun took a DDT in a WCW ring. How does that make sense? I had a wee toy WCW ring. So I was like, fuck it, you want to get DDT'd in a WCW ring? Then you can say you've done it. Just like I've wrestled for NXT. But that was kind of the start of it. It was like by chance, as I say, sometimes it's organic and it's just where you are, right place, right time, right guys, right contacts. So, that was it.
So obviously you mentioned BT Gun brought you in. So what was it like? Obviously he's still taking it up to this day. He's still
Yes, man.
doing
Wow.
amazing stuff like in the companies he's part of. What was it like going out with tagging with BT Gun? But also you've mentioned Red Lightning. So what was it like? He's come back. He's come back as more as a manager style now. So what was it like with him being in that ring as well?
With Red Lightning,
Red Lightning and
Red was
BT.
dead easy to rest. BT's up, that could be a whole podcast in itself, that whole relationship, because we teamed for, what was that, 2009 ish, right through until 2017, 16, something like that. So, there's fucking shit ton of stories there. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Red Lightning was always a pleasure to work because he was dead simple to work. His finishing move was like a powder, like that was his finisher. But he was the definition of like a great character wrestler. So like I would liken his style to the style of Jake Roberts. Jake Roberts wasn't the most athletic, he wasn't the strongest, and he wasn't the fastest, but everything he did had a purpose, and everything he did had a meaning. And the Red Lightning character would just ooze hateability. Like, there's certain people you can teach the art of the promo. You can teach them delivery. You can teach them when to get loud and when to get quiet and when to. But some people have just get this nerve to just get under skin that you cannot teach. And Red Lightning has that ability to deal with an audience or deal with promos in that sense that no one winds me up more on planet Earth, and it's such stupid shit, man. Like he'll just repeat what I've said, but in a stupid voice. And me at 40 years old, knowing what's coming, it's still I just like shut the fuck up, and I'll be like, mate, can you leave it? Mate, can you leave it? I was like, don't do that voice. We're adults. But in the ring, it was so fucking easy, smooth, always a pleasure. BT Gun, geez, oh man, there's so many stories there. One of the best. I've trained with him from when he walked into SWA, and we're crossing paths again. One of those fight forever scenarios. It seems good friends, better enemies. Um, but either side, it was always a joy because it is, we're both game. We're feeling it now. Like, see the stupid shit we would do in training to each other to practice. Do you know what was a fucker? See that Randy Orton kick him in the heat era? Aye. So we thought we'd give it a wee try. Okay, my kicks are, of course, your kicks are sound BT. Let's try it. We never tried it a second time, and I think I forgot geography because he just punted me in the fucking forehead, right? He's also involved in two of my daftest mishaps in training. One, well, like when we'll practice a move, well, we were trying to have it right, so I'm kind of crouched over, and he like steps up off my knee, off my back, jumps up and hits me with a stomp, like some fucking over evolved curb stomp, right? So he runs up, jumps on me, he hit me, stomped me so fucking hard, the arse came out my jeans. So I was like, bang! I'm just lying there with the arse out my jeans with a headache. Like, damn, we're no repeating that. And the other one was, I went, I should know the name of this. The pin, you're in the waist lock, you roll off the ropes. I was the one trying to hit the pin. I used to do shit like that, lads. And he stopped me. He stopped my momentum by stepping on my nut. Like, he just stopped me, and I just like, ah. And I thought, like when Wiley Coyote runs into a wall and he's all flat. I thought that was my ball. So I've like came to and I literally passed out for a few seconds with the pain, just like, probably more masculine, like, oh. No, in fact, it wouldn't have been because I only had one ball at that point. So yeah, we've had our stories. Me and BT Gun up and down the roads. We've had great matches. But that's what brothers do. They fight, don't they?
So true. I love the stories from you just now.
I do.
They're
It's
hilarious.
great.
We've had John Woodcock come in the comments said, "Good evening, lads." So evening to you too.
Good
Boy.
evening.
A boy that you've tagged with, but you've also went up against numerous times as well. Stevie Xavier. Um, what is it like? Like obviously he doesn't wrestle anymore. Um, what was it like when
He does.
does he still wrestle?
He does. He's in America. Aye.
Is he so I didn't know he was doing stuff across there. Um,
Yeah, he's changed his name though. Oh wow, that's escaped me. It's some Scottish name, Caper or something like that, Caleb or something. I don't know. Um, but yeah, he's got a different moniker, so he's still wrestling. I've known Stevie since he was. He used to float along to the schools when he was about 11, 12 years old because he lived locally to the training school. Um, so he would just pop in, but he was too young at the time. You didn't have like a kids class. You didn't have a training show program for the youngins. It was like 18 and overs or 16 kind of thing. So when he was old enough, me and BT kind of took him under our wing because he was tiny. Like he was a wee tiny guy, a wee flyer that could bump like a motherfucker. But Guns would try and take liberties with people like that, and we were just like, no, no, no. No, that ain't gonna happen. So we kind of like stepped in the way. Same with Kaylee Ray, because she came along as well. Obviously, they've been together since youth, and she floated along, kind of lived locally as well. Stevie was natural at the bumping, like he could get such sympathy. I think I preferred going against him though, because he'd always make you look so good. Like take, he would just elevate anyone's the ring with. I think he's got that kind of Shawn Michaels ability where he could bring someone up a level. Um, so again, always just an absolute pleasure to work, and I hope he's doing grand in America.
good. Yep, hopefully he's doing grand in America. I didn't know he was still wrestling in America. Obviously changed the name and stuff like that. But it's good to see that he's still across there doing what he loves as well. So you alluded on, he's got numerous names, like you said earlier. So we've got Adam Shane, Coach Trip. You alluded on him earlier. You had a one-on-one match with him back in 2009 at SWA. Um, what was it like having him in the ring? But also, you see him, you do cross paths sometimes as well recently at shows. So what is it like with like between you two, like when you're in
He,
the ring and that?
well, he helped train me, so he was one of the trainers in the school when I got started. And we just beat the piss out of each other. Again, it goes to that like kind of brotherly love where you can get away with a bit more. So he's just our game. And we just beat the piss out of each other. Adam's just a good guy to have around. Like anytime he's booked in a show, I'm happy because he brings up the locker room as well. Isn't what he just does out there. He's someone that brings a good energy to the room. He's just a good guy to be around. So I'm always happy that Coach Tripp's on a show with Adam Shane or whatever moniker he is. And in the ring, it's always fun. Just beating the shit out of each other, basically. I don't remember the match specifically. As you say, I've had a few, but I always just remember they were good snugfests.
Very good. Now, probably the most exciting thing I'm going to talk about here, um, but the 6th of February 2011, you did tag with BT Gunn. You went up against Noam Dar and Rob Cage. So this isn't the bit that I'm really excited to talk about, but we'll still want to mention this boy. But what was it like going up against Noam Dar?
I wrestled wee dickhead Gnome when he was still a wee guy, and I wrestled the soundest dude in the world Gnome there. So when I wrestled the first time round, admittedly, and he'll tell you this himself, he had a bit of an attitude, right? A bit cocky because he got a lot of praise way young. Like BT Gun called him. He showed me a match. He went, the kid was 15 at the time. He showed me a match and he went, this kid's going somewhere. He's got it. Look at the whole delivery of the character, the whole package. But he didn't like that match. I remember that one with Rob. He was just, but he was one of those ones, an unlikely mate. I never thought we would have been good, like got on with each other. But one of those circumstantial things, and a lot of times in wrestling, it's circumstantial the friendships you make because it's who you're wrestling, the cars you travel in, or who's you end up in. So we ended up just sitting, just me and him, and chatting away, and I was like, "You're all right," and he went, "I feel the same about you. I thought you would like you, and I went, I thought I wouldn't like you, but." We wrestled again in ICW later, and it was like that was just before he went off, and he was just tremendous. Like everything he did looked $1 million. I remember he had a match with AJ Styles for Pro Wrestling Elite, and he did not look out of place at all. And that was, well, AJ Styles. I mean, I don't have to bang on about him, do I? We all know how good he is. So
Yeah. Now the exciting part that I want to speak about was when you brought the NAK in. Well, when you
okay,
were part of the NAK back in the day. Obviously, we'll talk about the NAK you brought back now later on. But who brought whose idea was it to bring the NAK to ICW?
it was originally we were just Team ICW really, because me and BT Gunn had been running this New Age Click thing as a kind of sick of the regime band of guys like me, him, Kaylee, Stevie, and Dickie Divers really, because we were just so bored of the fucking way Scottish wrestling was at the time that we kind of just became our own thing within a thing. And then we came into ICW and we were the NAK technically, but we hadn't really put it over yet because we were just representing ICW. And, you know, it was very easy just to fly the flag there and whatever. But that was a faction that always needed the heel run. So we were like kind of that face tag team for a while. But in my opinion, it really kicked into gear in 2013 when I turned heel. We did that whole angle and BT Gun was already heel and so forth. And then I turned on Dallas. That's when it was able to become what it was meant to be. Um, but it was actually, again, you know, you can't force it. I mean, if you look at a lot of tag teams around, some are made to put together, but a lot of the ones, especially in the indies, they find each other. So you've got, what's their faces? Michael Devine and Rabu. Wonderful chemistry because outside as well, they've got chemistry. So it happens. And I'm not saying that always translate. I've seen and I've been in scenarios where you're really good pals with someone, but you don't click professionally. But we always did. Me and Tam always, because I'm a talker. I've got that style, and I'm high impact in my style. But he's a whippet. Like he's a whippet with a fucking crash helmet on. Do you know what I mean? He's 100 mile an hour, and we just merged our styles because it just was, man. Aye.
Yeah, it's like I see because obviously we had the 8-man tag team street fight where it was the Golden Label versus Team ICW, um, but you've wrestled. I'm going to mention why it was on Team ICW that day, and you've wrestled with it like against him. You've wrestled with him, but what was it like with Jack Jester?
I was always fine. Um, Again, similar ish styles. He fucking is. I tell you what, wasn't fun? That fucking elbow drop they would hit half a heights and you were on a table, right? Everyone thinks he's a crazy guy. Everyone thinks the guy jumping off the balcony is nuts. Nut. It's the cunt getting landed on that's nuts. That's the one. Everyone's, oh my god, Jeff Hardy's crazy, and then Devon Dudley just gets splatted. I mind it was when I watched WrestleMania 17 back, bit of nostalgia in that, and Spike Dudley gets annihilated, but of course we're all talking about Jeff flipping on him. That man gets squished. I remember that, but I was always enjoyable enough.
Good. Another man that I'm going to mention now. This was ICW on the 1st of April 2012. You were in
Hmm.
Team Death. It was yourself and Jack Jester, and you went up against um, a gentleman that doesn't really get mentioned anymore in wrestling because of reasons, so I'm not going to mention him. But the man that I do want to talk about is Iceman.
Yeah.
Now, Iceman is still
I,
putting up.
That was Iceman's retirement match, by the way, who I've just wrestled about 3 months ago. So we clearly didn't retire him, did we? No, it was. I remember that match had so much emotion. That was the storytelling of ICW through and through that night, because Iceman wasn't necessarily a regular to the ICW crowd. He wasn't one of the what you would say. I mean, he wrestled on the early ICW shows, but you know when I'm talking about that, you know, from my sort of gold label all those days. So the way it was sold for his retirement story, he's teaming with you don't want to say his name, it's your podcast, bro. Against myself and what's his face? Who was that teaming with again?
Jack Jester.
Who was
Jack
so
Jester.
it is. That's right. Oh, that one, right? Fucking Iceman, right? There's a photo. He hit me with a keg, and you can just see it because I'm just turning around. We're brawling. I just turn around, and he's got a keg over his head, and I'm like, how do you take a keg? No one's taught me how to take a keg. They've taught me how to drink a keg, but they've never taught me how to take a keg. So I get kegged by Iceman. but it was really good because that's one of those matches. I don't think it would be as good to watch back as it was live. I think there's certain movies you watch for your childhood, for example, Masters of the Universe. The man know for a fact that film's a load of shit, but I remember enjoying it at the time. So I'm just going to leave it there. So I think that match sits in that category of people were really, really into it. I think as well, though, the wild style of wrestling we know now in Britain, deathmatch wrestling, violence, it's everywhere now. But back then, it wasn't the norm. You know, we still weren't desensitized to everything till all the attempted murders in ICW. But yeah,
Mhm. No, that's quite funny. Like you say, how do you take a keg?
Drink it, but how do you take it in a
Yeah.
match? You know what I mean?
I'm just Aaron. Have you got any questions just now? I'll try and find my
I
question.
can't because I need to wait. The one I want to ask, I can't. I need to wait till we speak about, you know.
I don't know. This is the thing.
have we got a lull? Cool. We're going to use this lull to advertise Chris Renfrew tins available at the merch stand this weekend. Oh my gosh, what do you get instead, tin? You get the NAK ring that doesn't fit on my fingers, but they may fit on yours. But you know, you can totally have it. You can't really read. I know, but can you see that there? It says new age. You
Yeah,
click on
new
it.
age click, yeah.
Whoa! I'll also fling in a wristband.
Oh,
Whoa!
mate, nice.
And a sticker. Oh my days! And even a few pictures. Tenner, come see me at the merch stands. Cool. Did I fill the air there? Did we pull it off?
I don't know where he's going, but I can't ask what I need to ask.
Why?
Just go with it. Go with it, because I don't know where you're going, so I don't know where I'm going right now.
Right, okay. Well, we're just going to go there. We'll talk about his career going forward. He's came back. How did that happen?
Oh,
Like, because you've been away for a while, so you came back into the scene now. So how did it actually come about? You coming back to wrestling after
honestly,
taking a break?
it's going to sound cheesy, but fate. I went to see the hip hop act Onyx. They were playing the classic grand. You know Onyx? Slam. In
Yeah,
fact,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've got all sorts of props. You can tell I've got the ADHD at the tits, can't you, lads? 'Cause I've got all the props here. There's the flyer. There's the flyer for the gig on my old phone. But
Nice.
went to see Onyx and I bumped into Blue King Sharp. I bumped into him and Assad and I think Buffa was actually with him. But we've passed numbers, you know, the usual let's catch up, whatever. And he's just shot his shot, man, and went, listen, fancy a booking? So I've mulled it over, chatted, and it was literally, I'll test the waters, we'll see how it goes. So I'll come in, but originally there was not going to be any wrestling, there wasn't going to be any um, planned wrestling at all. I was just going to be a manager because they were talking about if he'd pitched this to me years ago, I'd be like, no, the NAK is sacred and I will choose the members. But now he's like, we've got these guys and I think they would fit the bill. Are you up for it? Some of them worked out, some of them didn't. It's the way wrestling is. But eventually it was a finish of a show in Paisley. It was a very heel finish. And we're like, we need to send the crowd home happy with something, you know, that's just the way it is. You know, even if you finish for like a storyline based thing, you don't want to send the crowd pure door. Like you want to have that, you know, that's why in Raw you see all these leaked footage of dark matches that happened after the show or The Rock interacted, whatever. And it was afterwards, it was in Paisley, and I went, fuck it, man, just say me versus you next show. Here, it'll give me time to get ready. And he was like, right, go for it. That was meant to be the one match. And it's just kept snowballing because this shit's addictive. Once you get into it, you can't get out of it. And I walked into some rooms, some of the faces I'm bumping into, like I've been doing shows, Glendon Bar, Jamie Feerick, fucking. I walked in, and who was it was sitting at this table? I think it was like Mike Musso, Adam Shame, Charles Boddington, and Johnny Storm. And I'm like, did I just fucking walk into 2004? What are we doing, man? But going forward, I really want to just get myself back out there. I'm taking more work everywhere now. I'm wrestling at Alba. I've just been back down at Target Wrestling. Um, Obviously, I've got W3L coming up. I've got other things in the works, and I'm just enjoying it again. And I think that there's this missing generation in Scotland almost. There's all these new guys, and then there's my age group, and there seems to be this gap. Only a handful of guys from that generation seem to have stuck around, and I think a lot of that's because they were so fucking jaded with the way things went down. Each to their own, and I don't blame people. I was so jaded, I fucked off for 6 years. Um, but I think now I've came back and made more mistakes than most people combined, and been given more chances than most get. I can tell them what to do and show them what not to do. By not one of those, when you get like parents are like, you will not smoke. They've never smoked in their life, and you're like, fuck, do you know about it? I've walked the walk and fucking stumbled over everything, and I can make sure that people don't repeat and give advice. So I'm really enjoying that part, is being helpful, helping the creative, and helping pass on my knowledge of being a relic of yesteryear. Back when we used the UK fan forum and couldn't Zoom each other for interviews, this would have
I
had to
know.
been every shoot interview. I don't know where they got these like beige yellow rooms they would shoot these shoot interviews in.
Yeah, man, I
You know what I'm
get it.
talking
Yeah,
about? Like
totally.
they
Yeah.
like had this. They look like a smoked fag. The filter tip. They
Mhm.
had that kind of smoked fag look about it all the time. Loved it.
Yeah.
So I take it you're obviously glad that you made the push and getting back into being in all these other companies, and you've got more stuff going further forward with other people out there, if that makes
In an
sense.
in an ideal world, I'd wrestle for Valor every weekend, and Valor would be all over the place. But if you
Mhm.
want to make a go of it, obviously you've got to spread your wings and get out there. Spread your wings and get out there. I could easily just said and fly, but no, it had to be different. But I would love that to be at the next plateau. But I just want everyone, because I don't think it's fair. There's a lot of people going, if you do this here, you can't do this here, and there's all this petty bullshit.
Yeah.
We aren't getting fucking paid enough to do that between us lads, right? We have
No,
not got enough
exactly.
zeros at the end of our pay slips to tell these kids that don't give a shit what happened to
Mhm.
me 7 years ago, or who doesn't like someone for this reason. Fucking lay off it, lads, because the youth don't deserve it. They deserve to have a clean slate of they can just learn, because the only way you learn is by wrestling different people and people better than you and people with different styles. And there's a lot of times I've watched shows and wrestled on shows where the matches have been very similar styles because everyone's trained by the same person. So the same spots happen. And that's not on, maybe with road agents, there could be ways around it. I think people need to keep their horizon. Like the list of opponents you're reading through, so many of them, I was able to go to another level because I learned from them. The only way you get better is wrestling people better than you. Why I'm buzzing for Friday, because Johnny gets to learn from me.
There we go. So, right, we could just talk about stuff now if you like.
I
Well,
have
he's got one
I
other
have
thing. Sorry.
I have four people that I want to ask your opinion on before we go up to you wing.
Tinky Winky, Dipsy, Lala, Po, Wank, Wank, good guy, Wank.
It's fucking class, man.
Oh,
That is
you
brilliant.
stole it from us. Before I do, Jam Dog has come and said spot on as always, Renfrew, with the wee clap emojis. Um, so two of the people I do want to touch on straight away because they were a tag team, and they were in WWE, but it's Brian Kendrick and Paul London. You were up
Oh,
against them. What obviously with them being in WWE, but what was it like going up against they two guys?
fucking, when you don't meet your heroes, bullshit, man. See, when it's that crazy space traveling hero, you want to meet him. Paul London is one of the most genuine, brilliant guys I've ever met in professional wrestling. That's why the WWE didn't like him, and that's why he didn't fit into their regime, because he's too real. And him and Brian came over and just they weren't coasting. They weren't phoning it in. They were in to make this as good a match as they could and to be able to have a match for them. That's my like top only match I put in the same category as them is me versus Galloway when he was Galloway McIntyre, 2015. Me versus Grado, and that's my other one that I'll cite if I've ever got to say my matches to go watch. If that's the NAK's best match as a team, was that tag match in Newcastle, and we put the belts. They took the belts off us that night. Kendrick's one of only two guys to kick out of our finisher, the Killer Boots, Stompy Stomp. It's not called Killer Boots, Stompy Stomp. I had a Stompy Stomp, but they were just sound dudes as well. They were ones that they were just us. They were just the guys. And again, the way I was blowing smoke up Johnny's, I'll say it about Kendrick in London. The reason there is an NXT, the reason the indie style got adopted and taken on more regularly within WWE and other promotions was that generation of guy. So that's the same generation as Brian Danielson. That's the same generation as like who else we got from there? AJ Styles, CM Punk, Paul London, Brian Kendrick, and it was just a pleasure, and I got a few times to wrestle them, and I got to one of my favourite memories is we were actually booked on a show. It was just me and Paul over in Belfast, and they put us up in this wee like cottage in the middle of nowhere, and we just went, well, we'll go explore in Belfast, bro. And that's just one of my favourite memories. Is just traveling with the traveller.
It's when I seen that Adams was talking about your return. As soon as I seen that, I was like, I need to mention that. Two names there. The other two do want to speak about. You have mentioned them. One is Grado and one's Drew Galloway, Drew McIntyre. Obviously, Grado's Grado. So what is it like when you have a match against him? But with Drew, what is it like? Obviously, he was in WWE. He then got let go, and he was back at WWE. So what was it like having him in the ring? When he's had his stint with WWE as well.
Drew, I got so lucky that I was the first dude he kicked in the face when he showed up. One, because I knew he was going to get too excited and legit beat the piss out of people. Asked me to on, that did happen. So I made sure I ran in and took my own bump. But at times you've got to remember, take in your moment and savor it, because life's so, like, for example, like, totally off topic, Dave Grohl gets asked about Nirvana. He's like, bro, I did that for 18 months. I don't fucking remember most of it. You got to stop sometimes. So we got wind he'd been released. Drew Galloway's just been released, and only about 6 people on planet Earth knew he was going to be there that night. And we were going to do that angle, and we're like, how do we get it there? So we came up with the idea that I was going to cash in on Jester, and then the lights come off and come on, and I knew, just take the moment in, because this is the shit you remember growing up, surprises in wrestling on the TV. So the lights off, and see when they came up and the people, then it was like, you get wrestling pops, yay, there's my guy, or yay, he won. No, people were fucking shaking their mates, like full grown professionals just losing their shit because they're living a moment. And I just knew. So he changed the whole game plan, because originally I was going to get the belt earlier on. Then he showed up and we went, you know. But he was the missing piece to the puzzle ICW and Scottish wrestling needed. We had Grado, the celebrity. We needed the wrestler. We needed that guy that was going to really legitimize us, and that was him. So when I had got my cash in, it's he again. There's another guy that just is the business. He is wrestling. He just consumes it, every part of his being. And the guy you talk to backstage is not the same cat that walks out there through the curtain. Drew backstage is quite chill, quite mellow. That motherfucker comes in and he just brings you up a level. He just gives such a shit about wrestling, and he made me better by getting in the ring with him. He allowed me to evolve my character. He allowed me to know I can step in with him at the time, and I could stand toe to toe with essentially one of the best in the world. And he just brought everyone up with him. He brought the product up. He brought every company he stepped into up. Um, all the success. And then Grado, very long serving relationship with him. But our match 2016, a year later, Mr. Square Go Lads, was the most heated. Like wrestling, we all know how it is, lads. We all know it's all what we make of it. But when you make people genuinely care who wins, and people are genuinely invested in the outcome, doing your job better than most. Again, it's me saying what I said about Red Lightning or Jake Roberts. We're not the most athletic guys on the roster. We're not the best wrestlers, but we created an environment where people wanted either me or Grado to win. That's pretty special. And I just remember like being in the ring for that one and just feeling the crowd and being in the bars, feeling that. That's just memories that will live with me for a lifetime. And I mean, yeah, that's my Grado experience, I guess. Well, there's many more, but
Yeah, no, it's class. Like we talked about, obviously your return to wrestling. So when you returned, obviously you brought the new age clique back with you. So what was the decision to bring the new age clique with you?
the booker brought me in, and I'm very synonymous with it. It's my thing. People still throwing up hand signals years later, so clearly it resonated. So let's fucking bring it back and give it one more shot. And as I say, we've had members in and out. Some didn't quite work out. Some have. Love working with Drew. I feel like me and him have got a wonderful chemistry of this like fucking hateable team. Legends never die as well. It's funny because I remember Sammy before he was Sammy when he was a fan at Target. and meeting him before then. So it's quite nice that it's went full circle, that he's actually went from watching me to joining the faction and stuff. I think it's been quite well received. I think we sit on that NWO tweener line better than most people ever can. It just made people, but it's good fun. Everyone that watches wrestling, everyone that gets involved in wrestling wants their own faction. So to get one that takes off and one that actually has a bit of success, everyone wants to have been in the NWO, the Horsemen, DX, the Shield. It depends what era you're from.
Yeah.
So to create one of those on our own grounds, I think it's been quite an enjoyable experience. And yeah, it ain't over yet.
Yeah. And you talked about obviously the Paisley show where you had Lou announce it with you and him at the next show. Um, that if that serves me right, that the night that Drew joined the NAK, that you, uh,
That is,
yeah, I was at that show. I actually
okay, man.
I gave you the finger in your face, to be fair, at that show. Um, but
At least it was just my face.
you were walking past, and I was just like, ah. um,
I vaguely remember that. I cried myself to sleep that night, you bastard.
but yeah, that night that was my second Valor show or something.
Yeah,
Um,
you're second.
and I was me and my partner were there, and we were watching, and I knew obviously we knew someone was joining, we didn't know who. And when Drew revealed it was him, straight away I was like, I was not expecting that. And I've got to know Drew through going to the show like Valor shows, but also he's part of SWE and other shows that W3L and stuff like that as well. So I've got to know Drew over time. I speak to him every so often as well, over like over social media and stuff like that. So um like I know that you're like bringing him in as a good step. You can see what he can do as well. That I don't think many people can match him. Um, but was it like obviously you say that it's like Lou will come to you and give you suggestions of who you can join. When Lou came to you and suggested Drew, was that someone that you jumped at straight away or?
I was willing to give anyone a shot because I knew him from many, many, many years ago when he was just a wee guy as Max Mayhem. And I just remember him as a wee guy. And it was, Lou was telling me, right, we've got Cavaro and we've got Drew. Want to put them in, you should fucking see them because like Cavaro's a tank, man. He's absolutely ripped. He's huge. And I'd wrestled him many years ago and he wasn't like that. And he went, Drew's the same. You got to see him now. And I went, you know what? As I say, age changes you. You change with age and you mellow. I ain't so precious. I'm willing to give it a shot. Not every member's worked out, but he came to it with me, and I just went, "Fuck it, we'll try it." And if the shoe fits, we'll keep walking in it. If it doesn't, just fuck. It's wrestling, man. Just blow someone up or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because I know like Lou, not Lou, Drew has come in to SWE and he's wore his like
AK top.
NAK top, and myself and others have threw up the NAK sign in that, and it gets over there as well, which I'm kind of hoping maybe one day it brings the NAK into SWE to make something change as well in SWE because as much as like SWE is our local show, so we go to it. My partner's cousin wrestles for them, so we go and support
Okay.
them. But it's quite stale at
Confusing.
times. Like a lot of things repeated. It's the same rivalries, kind of stuff like that, and matches are turning into the same. Like you were speaking about earlier, like a lot of things are sometimes the same. Um, so I'm hoping maybe one day that you can come in and change things up a bit. Um,
That's
Game, mate.
that's the idea.
Change the game
What,
in SWE.
card subject to change, lads? You
that
know how
is,
it is.
that is. Um, but obviously you alluded to your match with Lou at Paisley. Um, so how did that match go for you? You got the win. Um, Lou against Lou. But what was it like for your first match back?
The fact it was 6 years out, I felt like I did okay. The ring rust wasn't as evident as it could have been. Obviously, it was a very gimmicky, violent match. You know, that can cover a lot of maybe missteps when you're refinding your feet. But I thought it went really well. I think we told a great story. The crowd were into it, bled a bit, to which the medics came out and tried to make me legit. By the way, when they came out, I don't know if you caught that. There's two people come out to ringside and they start talking to me in the corner. They're going, "You need to take this home. You're done." I was like, "No, I'll die first." But it was great fun, man. It was good to be back. And me and Lou again, brotherly love, but that means you're willing to maim each other more. And we still got one more to go, man.
Yeah, like I've seen the rivalry. Like I don't get to many Valor shows due to days are on and stuff like that with work the next day to travel. But I keep up to date with it on like YouTube and stuff like that. And I know they've now got their TV deal, so I'm loving. I just want to see how Valor goes from here, and like where the NK and Valor goes, and the feud with you and Lou go and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You also have then also in Valor went up against UNG Maki, someone
Mm.
that's been in the business for a long time as well. What was it like having Ewan in a match?
Oh, dead easy, man. Like, Ewan's a great character. Ewan's a great person, and his voice, man. It's one of my favourite voices I've ever heard. I don't know why he's not doing ASMR or audiobooks and stuff at this point. Like, he's got that majestic sort of like drawl with the big words like thesaurus or diplodocus, shit like that. But pleasure to work with. I
Oh,
love his
fucking point, man.
character.
Oh,
I, but he's a great guy, great character, and I'm really happy we're on the same shows. And I'm sure we're going to cross paths many more times. Morton Alba, I chased him. He ran away. It's on CCTV somewhere. So we only scratched the surface.
Mhm. No, it's good. Uh, Again in Valor, you went up against Big F and Joe. Now, Big F and Joe tears it in the scene down in England with the death match stuff. This was a hardcore match, but what was it like against Big F and Joe?
Cantor. That's again similar styles. He's not a catch as catch can wrestler, Joe. So there's no lot of like catch the moonsault to the outside. It's just mainly stop this with your head. But big sound dude, man. Like I find a lot of the time these absolutely crazy bastards are the most lovely dudes outside the ring. It seems like they get their therapy out in the ring. And then outside, Tim Strange is the same, like the most sound dude outside the ring, but inside the ring, fucking gusset boards and barbecues and all that shit. Although I will say, some of the shit Joe does, nah, leave me out of that, mate. That's good for you, man. But I'll just cut a promo or something instead.
No, class. Um, you've alluded you've come back. You've went to W3L, which you have this Friday. But what happened for you to come to W3L?
Just being around Mike, and me and Mike have known each other 20 years without having a conversation longer than 3 minutes until we went, well, we'll have a coffee and chat shop. So we did. We met up and finally get chatting and started chatting to each other on a more personable level. So, and it was like, hi, he was the first place because I was like, why not do a bit of W3L as well if I can get in there? Like, good shop, decent setup, decent crew. So that's kind of just the way it happened. And then because, I lent my bits and helped with a bit of production here and there as well, it just kind of snowballed. And I'm happy to be part of the team, part of the family.
Good, good. And that match, you went up against Taylor Bryden. Again,
Mm.
Taylor's took time away from the business as well. He's come back, and as far as I'm aware, Taylor's only really doing W3L. But what was it like? What's it like going with Taylor?
Easy, easy as me. I dropped him on a telly. I don't know if you saw that. Like Taylor's on the telly, pile driver through it. He's a good lad. I've known him for years as well. Again, walked in, didn't recognise him at first because he was a totally different. He was scrawny, wee tiny dude when I remembered him back in the day. But I thought we had a right good match in Elgin. Fucking bastard day of travel, but good place to wrestle. Good crowd, good venue, good opponent. That's all we're after.
Yep. And then after that, you wrestle Mike Musso at Fowler. Obviously, you've spoke with Mike. Again,
Yeah.
that you've wrestled him in the past, and you've wrestled with him in the past. So what was it like going up against Mike again after the break you've had?
Oh, I was in big trouble, mister. It was two big guys just doing each other. But he did scold me with a fucking hot dog, didn't he? So we end up brawling over at the hot dog stand, and he comes out with this fresh for the brine, steaming hot dog. And like, I'm
winner.
gonna bloody you're getting deep throated, sir. And he just fucking stuffs this hot dog, and I just like ended up no one cared. Worst thing about it, not one person reacted. They just looked sexually
Man, that's
provocative, to be
class.
honest. Like, what's he doing to that other man? They were fighting him, and I go, are they friends now? Like, what the fuck's going on?
Oh, wow.
So he scolded me with a sausage, lads.
That's brilliant,
That's
man.
class. Oh, I need to mention that to Mike next time I see him. Oh, that's class.
See you on Friday, maybe, mate.
Oh, we'll see you on Friday. You what got you into going to Alba? You've then been to Alba. You went up against Ewan and David Devlin. So what got you into Alba?
Jam O'Malley. Me and Jam go way back. Literally lived with the guy for a few years. So we go way back to the SWA training days, the early days. And you know that guy, like people, the unsung heroes of wrestling, right? Reckless Intent Wrestling was Michael McLucky, Michael Chase, and his wonderful family, and Jam. Jam put in his every single day effort into that place. And Reckless was back in a second promotion for quite a while. Fucking loved it there, man. Because of the family and the setup. And Jam booked that shit. And Jam took care of the talent. And I don't think a lot of people like that. I think there's a lot of jealousy that's went that boy's way. Because they just, rather than having the balls to go do it themselves, they'd rather hate on someone else. Psst, fuck yous, man. So I've got all the respect there. And he was like running these shows, and I was like, fuck it, let's do this, man. And he lets me wrestle as a babyface and come out to dance tunes, which is a rarity. I quite like doing that sometimes. I'm very, very, very deep character here, lads. I'm just darkness and writing on myself. I'm like an onion, I stink. No, there's many layers. But aye, that's it. We started chatting. See, when you show back up on social media, you get that list of holy fucking shit, you're no dead. I thought you drowned, or like, oh my god, I thought you fucking get stolen. Like, oh. Some people just never message. I'm very sad about that. No, but he just messaged, and then we had the usual back and forth. Let's meet up for a coffee. Bang, bang, bang. One thing led to another. Alba, here we go.
Good. No, it's class. And like you said, that's when you chased Ewan and he ran away.
Yeah, and he's still running for as far as I know.
Probably. Um, Back at Fowler, I was staying right as I couldn't think of the one second. You then had match for there was Team Valor versus the New Age Click.
Hmm.
But you have a new member of the New Age Click recently. And that is the one and only Casey Owens.
It is indeed.
Obviously, I've seen that she turned on BT. Whose idea was it for her to turn on BT? Was it yourself? Was it the book, like Lou, or
That's a bit recent, lads. That's a bit of a trade secret. That one. That's a trade secret. We're going to keep that one
it's worth a
under
try?
wraps for now.
It was worth a try.
See,
No, I'm interested to see how it goes with the newest click, with Inval, like I said, and especially like with like sort of I've seen videos of like Legends Never Die and how they're getting on, and it's good to see that they're coming out of their shells more. Shells? Cells.
Have you heard of their new cooking show that they're doing?
no.
Well, what they're refusing, right, is healthier living, but we like things like chicken and fried goods, but they don't want to use a fryer. So it's called Legends Never Fry. I could have made
Nice.
that up. I might not have.
You never
It's
know.
wrestling. Could be true. They've got a Bulgarian baker over that way.
Mate, they could
Yeah.
use it as a gimmick somewhere, you know?
There's
The
gimmicks everywhere, lad. There's no
Exactly.
tie, don't sell it.
True. Back to W3L. The show that I was at where I got to see you and we got a chat after it, was in
I
Stirling
got him
where
agreed
you
to the
went up
podcast as
again.
well.
Eh?
I'm sure was that the same night you got him agreed to come on?
Yeah.
Yeah, see.
You went up against Shakib Ali and it was a fans choice match, and the match was decided as a tables match. What was that like having Shakib, but also with the table that didn't look like a table? It was a table.
There was no fucking tables in the building that wasn't used for merch, lads. That was what it is. Let's call this not table a door. We had to make things up. I mean, all I know is the final Death Valley driver sounded and felt like a real door or table. Because it turns out going through a door is pretty much the same as going through a table, less leggy. So I was great though. Sakib's a good lad. Glad he's still on the scene. One of those like we travel quite a bit now because we're on the same circuit and all the time in the world, and just dead easy, just a pleasure to work.
Then on the Saturday, so that was the Friday night, and then on the Saturday, you went up against Roderick Jones, but you weren't meant to be in that match. It was meant to be Sammy Sparks. Now, you then attacked Sammy Sparks backstage, and in your words, it's a different promotion, so anything goes, kind of thing.
Mm.
Um, what was it like going up against Roderick Jones?
I don't think he got moving, did
I
he?
don't think so.
I just leathered him, lads. I think we call that a squash match in old terms, and they're quite rare these days. So it was easy and fun. He wasn't so plucky that night, eh?
No, it wasn't. Um, so the last one that we've got here was your return to Well, you went to Target. How did it come about you going to Target?
Ozzy Michaels put in, because I used to wrestle for Target way back in the day. Ozzy Michaels is down there. I wrestled Ozzy, and I went, shout John, Natras, and say that I'm back on the circuit, back on the scene, and it's just that's the way it goes. It's just a case of sending your feelers out there. It's the case of a lot of people wish they could get booked more, but don't ask to get booked. Like, just ask. I mean, if you're scared of rejection, you're probably in the wrong game. So you need to just put yourself out there. Currently trying to get my highlight reel knocked up because, go in there with the right tools, the right promo shots, the right materials, the right things to put yourself over. Because obviously I'd been there before, so he knew me, but most people might not have wrestled places. So that's it. It's as simple as that. It's just what everyone should do. If you want to take this seriously, the way I look at a lot of things these days, right, is because I'm trying to you get older and there's a lot more of life getting in the way of things you actually enjoy. So I need to prioritize my main goals. So one of the ones of my four things, I must top my four main goals. One of them is become pretty much full time next year. How do I do that? So every single day I write down something I'm going to do involving wrestling. Whether that's promoting something online, whether that's watching a certain group of matches to learn something, whether that's going to the gym, every single day I'll look at something and go, and how can I take another step forward? How can I advance this? And it can be as simple as going and sharing something online that day. Maybe you don't have the needs, maybe busy, maybe you've got a 14-hour shift in some bullshit job. You can still grab your phone for 2 minutes and put over yourself, the product, or fucking film the one, man. We've all got phones on us. So that's pretty much it. Just the reason you get booked is by getting yourself out there.
Exactly. Um, and let's get you booked on many, many more.
Hopefully.
Keep this going and get the New Age Click everywhere as well. Aaron, have you got any questions?
I don't think I need to ask because I think I know the answer anyway, so it's all good. My usual one. No, because does he prefer face or heel? I think I know the answer to that, mate. I don't think I need
Fucking
to answer.
face. Bet you don't know this face because the merch stand tells you it's better, right?
Yeah,
Fucking heels all well and good, so you get to enjoy yourself. But see when you're on the merch, see the difference because of the Waynes. Oh, the adults, they'll buy your t-shirts, but see when the Waynes like you, or you sell. How many mouth guards has BT Gun sold? How many, like, genuinely? It must be able to probably light up Wales by now, like not the
yeah.
animals, the country, or both. I mean, there's a lot of gum shields. My
Mhm.
point is, money says face,
Yeah.
character says heel.
Mate, I thought that more for like the thingy, and that's why I said I'm not going to ask because I think I know I'm going to get the answer that I
Most
was
indie
expecting.
wrestlers, most indie wrestlers will say I want to be babyface because they get paid better,
Yeah,
but it's more fun to wrestle heel a lot of the time.
yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
I thought it was face just from the way we've been chatting and the way you've spoke about it. I thought you preferred the face, but you do like the heel work. That's why I thought I don't think I
Totally,
need
man.
the answer. I've already got the answer myself with the way we've been chatting all night. If you know what I mean. So
Yeah, totally did.
I've got two questions for you, and then we'll end with you giving people where they can follow you on social media so they can see
Okay.
up-to-date stuff and shows you have coming up that you know of. So
Mm.
Mount Rushmore in America, what is your all-time four?
Oh, Stone Cold Steve Austin, John Cena, Hulk Hogan, Bruno Sammartino.
Nice. It's very nice. I like it. That's different. It's very
And
different.
people tend to say The Rock and stuff, but if you look at it like this, The Rock's era was Austin's era.
Yeah.
They kind of, and
They marry
I'd
each other.
say
Yeah.
it's, so no disrespect to the great one and all that, but people overlook certain lineage. You could even maybe argue like the Nature Boy, Buddy Rogers. You know, there's other people that, but I'm going Sammartino because when the whole world stops when someone loses a title because he's held it that long,
Yeah.
they're doing your job, right?
Mhm.
No, 100%. Totally.
The last question I've got is I have stole this question from another podcast, but what is three things you're grateful for in life right now?
My girlfriend, she keeps me grounded and just my best. You know, when I'm in a relationship with my best mate, so every day is grand. You know, we've got the same interests, but enough differences to keep it interesting. Grateful for the sport of professional wrestling. That it came back into my life and I fell back in love with it again. It's quite a wonderful feeling to have something that you genuinely care about. That you wake up and it just consumes you. And football special. I found this in a shop, and I don't know if you've ever tried this, lads, but I used to get this back in the day, and I don't even know what's in it. But I'm thankful I found this today.
Nice.
Fair.
No.
Yeah, good. Right, it's down to you. Tell people on social where they can find you on social media so they can follow you, and what shows you have coming up that you are on.
Well, we've already been plugging it all day. So in Dunfermline, we are going to W3L. I am wrestling Johnny Storm there. I will be in Elgin on this Saturday, W3L again. And then we're off to the Grand Ole Opry on the Sunday for the barbed wire Tapai death match. Tapai death match being the broken glass fists just fucking each other up, basically, lads. For anyone that doesn't know what Tapai or Tapai, however we announce it, fucking, I think it translates to ouch. So we've got that, and there's a few W3L dates in December. But another thing I want to plug is my own podcast airing this Monday, Wrestling Reviews. A bit of a twist. I'm in the same room as people. It's recorded at shows. Kind of generic questions, but the twist is that we're tasting beverages. So we're testing them. I'll give you an example. I mean, I don't. By the way, I didn't plan all these props. It's just I live a busy life. So for example, it'd be ice guava versus ice mojito. Whoa. And my guests test the drinks, and we test the drinks, and we declare a winner. So that's a wee twist on it, just for a bit of laugh. But it's keeping it easy, keeping it breezy, letting people find a voice as well. You know, being a bit looser and getting more content out there, and just enjoying it. So wrestling reviews, wrestling with a W, clever, but not Renfrew with a W, just Renfrew with an R. And Instagram, that's where you're going to get me. But wrestling reviews is on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I will get to Facebook eventually, but ugh, it's kind of horrible out there, lads. So at the moment, it's just Instagram, really. And please just follow all the wrestling, man. Follow the indies because have you seen what they're doing over there? Have you seen the ticket prices? Have you seen what the guy with the water that everyone was thinking was going to save the world is staying in the business? Because he can't say no. Support the indies.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Chris, for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been one that I have loved the whole way through, hearing all your different stories. Um, Aaron, thank you as always for coming on. Um,
No problem, my friend.
Aaron, I will let you plug your show on Sunday.
Myself and John will be back on Sunday evening at 8:30, and we will be discussing the roundup for WWE.
And then myself and Aaron will be back next
Next
Wednesday.
week. It's a
Um,
Wednesday, man. If you're ready to tell me Tuesday, I was making your
I know
ass.
it's Wednesday. We'll be back at 8:30 next Wednesday. Um, you'll see us then. Um, we will see you Friday, Chris.
Yes.
Which we can't wait for. I can't decide who I'm going to cheer for because I really can't go against you. But then it's Johnny Storm, so I really don't know.
Are you coming, Aaron?
Yes.
Right. So since you gave me this, I'm going to cheer for Aaron and boo you. So there's your decision made.
That's brilliant, man. That is brilliant. I have a small child with me too as well, but he's 16, almost 60, mate. So he gives it back as much as if a heel wants to get in
Listen,
his face, he will give it back as much.
Listen, see if I'm not getting heat for my bad guy antics, and I'm probably shite at my job. So
Yeah.
But no, it's been an absolute pleasure as
Oh,
always. Guys, remember, card is subject to change. You never know what's going to happen when Chris, Renfrew, or the any care about. So remember that. We will.
he's right, you know.
Aaron, I'll see you Sunday. I will see you next Wednesday.